Hello, what's going on, everyone? Wrong scene. Hey, what is going on? Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to Dano Crypto. On this channel, we show you guys how to make simple, effective, and easy moves in the cryptocurrency ecosystems. And one of the ways that we have, over the years, figured out the best way to keep people in crypto is to not lead them off the cliff. And so the best way that I can do that is to just keep people engaged in crypto by testing out these ecosystems, testing out the chains, downloading the wallets, spot buying crypto, and trying your best not to get overzealous with leverage or gambling or any type of mechanism that is very, very high risk with very low probability of success. And so over time, we have learned our lessons. We've gotten chopped. We've made some money. We've actually done pretty well trading, but then we've also done pretty bad. And so what can eliminate this is knowing that these cycles are sometimes cyclical, and that this particular cycle has given us cause and reason to think that it's going to be extended because of all the different things that have happened. It's been stretched. We have these institutions lining up to get exposure into crypto. And I just feel like this is the best time to be bullish, but we're in extreme fear right now. Bitcoin crashed below 90K. I called it on the channel. I said, there's an order block that is looking like it wants to get eyed, and we broke through the order block. So on Bitcoin, we're looking at Bitcoin here on Coinbase, and we basically broke through two of the major order blocks that gave us max pain. And let's see if we can get to the actual, where's the chart? Where is it? I have to go to the 4 hour. Is this it? Oh yeah, here we go. Yep. This is wild. So if you guys remember, if you were watching the channel, if you're watching the live stream, we called for Bitcoin to go into this price area. We said max pain, just kidding, is actually here. I said, just kidding. If you were a betting man, if you were a trading woman, then you would have taken that advice possibly and been like, hey, I'll short that because, man, it landed directly on the Lux Algo order block detector. So if you're curious what this particular indicator is the order block detector. And on the 4 hour, it reveals itself on different time frames, but the best one that I've found recently over the past couple months is the order block detector being on the 4 hour has just been such a magnet for where liquidity a lot of the times is sitting and waiting to hit. Because you think about it, you got limit orders that are going to be set to hit right here. And a lot of the times it matches up with the liquidation levels of the market. So the heat map for the 24 hour was probably sitting really nice. A lot of liquidity sitting here ready to scoop this up, and a lot of liquidations happen probably at that price. And so the market is just doing what it's doing. But this was crazy though. I mean, we circled this like on the money. This thing was on the money. So let me know if you put a 1 in the chat if you guys actually saw me write this live on stream. Put a 1 in the chat. Make sure you guys are hitting the like button. We're battling the shadow banning algorithm. I think it's doing better. It's doing better, but for some reason, man, it was just atrocious. But last night we had a lot of people tune in. We really appreciate all the people that came in. We want to give a quick shout out to all of the members of the channel. We do not do enough shout outs, so let's do that right now. So let's go to the community, and actually we got to go to the dashboard. And so right now we're at 3,906 subscribers. We are getting so close. We're getting so close to getting to 4,000. it's been such a journey and a grind for sure, but it wouldn't be possible getting there without you guys watching and interacting. So I really appreciate it. Okay, so there it is. Let's go to the members. All right, so let's see all of the members. We're going to give a member shout out right now. So we have Dylan VA, we got Celinda Anderson, Vincent B. I like that PFP. We got Dave Digital. Hopefully he's in the house. We have Scottish Crypto. We got Jay Violet. We have K Diggity. Who else we have here? Ozzy, Mr. Army Piper. Got David Brumbilo. I'm probably butchering that name. We got Al JR, AOKG, Mike Play, Trade Intuition, Lake the Great, Kenneth Lodge, Jay Spizzle, AI Griff, Lasers Go Pew. These are probably names that you recognize because maybe these same people you've seen in other live streams. We got Alexandra G, and yeah, so we really appreciate all of the members of the channel. Okay, so we want to remind you guys about some of these things that are happening. Like we had the AWS outage, and that caused some issues with certain blockchains and also the internet and applications across the board on the World Wide Web. And now we've had the Cloudflare. We had like if you were wondering why nothing was loading on X or some of your websites were not loading, it's because of they run through Cloudflare. And if Cloudflare has an issue, then it will not load the website. And so sometimes you can bypass that by loading a VPN in a certain area, and then it will route through there. So that is just my suggestion. So you just kind of have to play around with it, but it's not a guaranteed fix. But it apparently has been patched and fixed. So if you're wondering what the heck was going on, it was Cloudflare. So, but Fitzy made a good point, said Cloudflare going down and raping half the internet might be the best Zera shill yet. Can't transfer with online banking, can't transact with encrypted private offline. Oh, but you can, sorry, I can't read. Can't transfer with online banking, but you can transact with encrypted private offline cash though. He said, do you get it yet? So this is a big narrative right now is privacy, but we've been getting shilled in our face Zcash, and it's not truly private with Zcash unless you make it so. So if you dive into Zcash, you can have an optional privacy, but it costs more for the transaction. It's actually 30% more. So if you're wanting to go into and what you have to do is you have to go into you just have to buy Zcash. So it's not like you are having your own coins that you've accumulated for years, and then you have to like you have to quote then sell those and then go into, or if it's ETH, it's different because like Richard Hart right now has been putting ETH in Tornado Cash, which is ETH privacy. It's so, but I like the idea that you can still have your stable coins, whatever, on a Solana network or ETH or you have Bitcoin, and you can send it into a protocol that can then, from that point, shield it. And I think that's exactly what Zera is doing. But then also I think it's what ProveX is doing. And this is the example. No one's confirmed me 100% just yet of what we're talking about. I don't know what happened. What the heck? Because of all this Cloudflare stuff, and also, oh wait, I think I know what I need to do. I know what I need to do. All right, let me know guys if we're still live, because I just had to reset something, so just let me know. Are we good? Am I good? Put some ones in the chat. I just need to know. I just need to know. Okay. All right. So people are we're not happy about this particular little crash here, but we're just going to point out the fact that like when we've had these drops here, they get bought up. They get bought up really fast. And I think what we're going to see here is a really, really interesting pop on some of these altcoins. And we're going to go to our profile here real quick. We had a couple of things we wanted to highlight, and maybe if I just click on my likes, yeah, there we go. Oh yeah. Last night I got mogged super hard by the community that is trying to do mog on Solana. And so what I've been seeing, and if on Pump Fund, so what I've been seeing is that there's a group of people that are making revivals, and copycatting these original Ethereum contracts that were like 2 years old or 2.5 years old. And we've talked about this. I mean, if you guys have watched my channel, I've broken down the ETH contract lore of specific coins like Pepe, like Mog, SPX 6900, Bobo, ticker Bitcoin, and then you just Wojak. And a lot of these contracts, they came out around the same time, and and then through those there were all kinds of different derivatives or coins that were trying to be like it, and a lot of those went to zero, and a lot of them ended up being sometimes vampire attacks, and ended up being just a way to extract away from the attention from what eventually, like for example, Pepe with the contract 69 and the supply and everything being 420 trillion. So you just, all those things are sometimes important to follow. It's not always a guarantee, but it definitely is something that when you're trying to navigate which contract or what token is going to be the one, because there's going to be 17 million of them and there's going to be PVPs. So there's a MOG on ETH, okay? There is a MOG on ETH, which is MOG coin that was created 2 years ago, 2 years, 3 months, 29 days ago, okay? Well, what's going on here? Is it gonna load? Ah, oh, what the heck? Oh man, is it gonna really give me trouble here? Okay, well, there you go. We can just at least look at it from here. So you have MOG 2 years ago, right here. Liquidity the liquidity though, that's what's very interesting about this one, is the liquidity is at 10 million and it's locked, okay? So out of all of the, like, as close to Pepe, and I think, and potential, and then also SPX 6900 has the most liquidity locked in the pool, which means the bank of the token can withstand massive buys and clips off of the chart. So when retail comes in, or you just have millions of people starting to buy meme coins, which could potentially happen, it's not a guarantee, but something like Pepe, something like MOG, something like SPX, something like ticker Bitcoin, these things, and Wojak also has pretty strong liquidity as well. I think, this is my thesis, you have more room for people to make money. And if the liquidity isn't strong on these particular pump fund revivals of these same tokens like Wojak has been PvP'd on pump fund to garbage. And it's like people forget the fact that there is a Wojak on ETH. There is a Wojak on ETH. And then the same thing is happening right now with MOG. Swidow's video. Have you thought about making some stickers with your QR code to your channel for Miami and other events? No, I have not, but that is a great idea. That is a great idea. I should definitely do that. So yeah, the point I'm trying to make is it's either like some of these are going to get PvP'd into the ground. Like, so for instance, I made the example of MOG. So MOG right now is trying to get revived on a pump fund contract, but there's a few of them. So when you type in MOG, you have the MOG coin that is, this is the liquidity's like 81,000 right now. So the particular one that mogged me last night was this one. But then you look, there's a Binance Smart Chain one. There's, there's based MOG. There's this, I mean, yeah, there's a few different ones, but yeah, so this is the particular one that I said, look, here's the deal. So I'll buy $69 of this one, and I'll buy $69 of the one on Ethereum. Because like I said, I don't really focus on this particular meme. I've always just used it as an example of where it came out around the same time as Pepe. So I kind of attribute it as one of those kind of legacy ETH meme coins. So, but I don't own any. I focus on Ticker Bitcoin and Pepe and Wojak. Like those are the ones that I've kind of that I've picked for my bag for at least Ethereum. And so speaking of Ethereum, let's watch this video real quick. We watched it last night, but I think this is a great one. This is going to get you bullish. We have Matt Hogan of Bitwise and Tom Lee of Bitmine and Fundstrap.
Broadly, with your kind of high level view here, what do you think is really going on? Tom, let's start with you first.
Well, Leslie, I think the markets are a bit nervous in crypto land, in equity world, because one, we've had a government shutdown, and then there's been doubts about AI valuations and people raising questions about that. So AI stocks have corrected and many growth stocks have corrected. And then in crypto specifically, it's been dealing with two issues. One is there was this big liquidation event on October 10th, one that really was a larger liquidation event than anything seen in history. And the second is because crypto is risk on, I think markets are really struggling with what the Fed's going to signal on December, because, you know, if you end up with a hawkish Fed, it gets crypto investors very nervous. I think that's all creating this downside pressure, but I think the good news is there are signs of exhaustion. I did speak with Tom DeMark of DeMark Analytics, and you know he thinks there are signs that would look like a bottom that could be occurring sometime this week.
Matt, do you agree with Tom here?
I actually do exactly agree with Tom. I think we're nearing a bottom. I look at this as a great buying opportunity for long-term investors. You know, Bitcoin was the first thing to turn over before this broader market pullback. It was sort of the canary in the coal mine, signaling that there was some risk in all sorts of risk on assets. I think it'll be the first thing to bottom, and I agree with Tom. We're getting very close to that point. So I think it's an exciting opportunity, again, for people who are looking out a year or more into the future.
Tom, kind of digging into Ethereum a bit more, what do you think are some of the idiosyncratic drivers here? Are there things that you think may be due for more of a decoupling from just the broader risk environment, or crypto as well?
Tom Lee's like, I want to mention Pulse Chain so bad, but I can't. I'll just talk about Ethereum, okay? I'll talk about Ethereum.
Well, you know, Ethereum is a smart contract platform, so it differs from Bitcoin, which is a store of value, and in many ways its virtue is that it's inert, you know, and it represents digital gold and a good store of value. Ethereum, on the other hand, is, because it's a smart contract platform, is really the rails where I think a lot of things are going to be built. And one of the big breakouts this year has been stable coins, but it's also been things like prediction markets, and now talk about tokenizing more than just dollars, but equities and real estate and alternative assets and other assets. And a lot of that will be built on Ethereum or layer 2. So I think from a perspective of what the ecosystem looks like, Ethereum is a place where there's a lot of activity taking place, and you can measure it by transaction volumes or transactions per second, or even value locked on the chain. And these are all rising. So to us, I think it's a story that still is in the earliest stages, and one of the reasons we consider it a super cycle.
And Matt, you agreed. You said that you agree with Tom that it's nearing a bottom. How much of a long-term buy do you think this is?
I think it's a generational opportunity for long-term investors, whether you're looking at Bitcoin, Ethereum, or Solana, to double down on what...
I'm stupid. These guys are smart. They've been in the business for a long time, dealing with millions of dollars, making deals, contracts on the old legacy system. And they're saying the same stuff I've been saying on my live stream. That's what I'm like, okay, because like I'm stupid. I'm just figuring this stuff out. But I have a good head and thesis on my shoulders about this stuff, and I feel like we're in the right place at the right time. And so if these guys are saying the same stuff, this is why I'm playing this, because this is mainstream, who at points had no idea what the heck crypto even was. CNBC, they would kind of briefly talk about Bitcoin, but they didn't know the difference. They didn't even know the difference between Justin Sun and CZ. So it's really cool to start to hear this type of talk like on mainstream, and then hilarious to go on crypto Twitter and everyone's like doom saying they're saying I'm quitting, I'm selling everything into stables. That was it. That was the top. I'm not going to get wrecked. It's going to go to 30K. Everyone thinks they're going to be able to time everything perfectly. They're not even thinking like 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20 years down the line. They're only thinking about this very short rejection and normal resistance.
Tom said about Ethereum specifically. Look, I think investors are very nervous broadly about the economy, about AI valuations, about tariffs, about the broad economy. You want to look for secular trends that are decoupled from that. I think regardless of what happens on the economy in the next year, stable coins will grow tremendously. I think regardless of what happens, tokenization will,
And they're expected to grow at $3 trillion by the next few years. By like the next year or 2 years, there's going to be $3 trillion added into the cryptocurrency total market cap, just stables. So then you have to think about real world assets, gaming tokens, metaverse tokens, DeFi tokens. I mean, everything across the board. Then you go into the Ethereum ecosystem as a whole, like of then the institutions and knowing that this money is going to flow in Ethereum. And I think Bitcoin could at least get a quarter or a little more than a quarter of gold's market cap, because gold right now is at 25 trillion. So gold at 25 trillion and Bitcoin is at 1.5 or 2.3, the 2.3, right? Bitcoin's at 2.3, I believe. Or no. Or when it was at all-time highs, I think it was at around 2.3. Yeah, let's look. Because if we go to market cap and we go to, it was at, oh wait, it was at, was it at, oh dang, it went to 2. Okay, yeah, so at all-time high, Bitcoin hit 2.4 trillion. So I just see it as like, there's, why couldn't we just get to 10 trillion and just be like a quarter, 10, 15 trillion, something like that? It'd be pretty fascinating. even just 5-6 trillion, I don't know. I wonder what the market would look like, because even with what we've had in the market growth, and then looking at Ethereum, I just think about Ethereum. I really think people are underestimating Ethereum. People are so bearish Ethereum for some reason, and they listen to these people, especially Solana people. Like if you listen to an echo chamber of Solana people, you'll think Ethereum is like is a Sega Saturn or something. That's literally what people on the timeline will make you think, that Ethereum is a Sega Saturn, and it's just like never gonna hit, it's never gonna have market share. It's just crazy. So, and then when I listen to Vitalik speak, and his aura and how he believes in crypto, he actually does believe in privacy. I don't think he's as communist as everyone makes him seem to be, or a communist socialist. Like, I think he has good ethics and fundamentals, and he seems like he's working hard. I'm betting on ETH. I'm betting on ETH, especially because I hold ETH meme coin, so I am bag biased in that regard. But I think ETH can go to 10K. 10K ETH is bearish to me. I think $20,000 Ethereum can 100% happen. And I think I'd be fair to say. So then you're not over there laughing right now thinking, oh my God, Daniel has lost his freaking mind. No, I haven't. I have not. I just really believe in crypto in terms of the utility of what it's going to be used for. And a lot of it's going to be used to just manipulate the crap out of stuff like the stock market and the systems that we've have been doing for years anyway. The difference is that with the printed fiat cash, it was it's harder to track where everything's going. And that was the whole issue. That was the whole issue of auditing the government, the misconduct of all of the printed money, because they were just printing money and we just didn't even know where the hell it was going. So that ultimately caused a massive monetary inflation and debasement of the currency, which then ultimately ran and drove prices up, because it just proved that you can't add 60% of the currency in without having repercussions over the next, then now 4 or 5 years after. So the difference here is that if we go into a different type of standard with ETH is actually deflationary. Bitcoin is deflationary. Certain stable coins that end up getting the full regulatory approval of our government has to have reserves and full reserves to back. If someone wants to mint the stable coin, or they mint the stable coin, they have to have the reserves to back it. So this is I think what you have to think about going into the next 10 to 15 years is like, these altcoins and stable coins will be more regulated. There's still going to be manipulation, but I think it's going to be not as like insane as it's been. And I think the liquidation event of 1010 was like Binance and all the things that were going on, and the massive high leverage and all the crap. That was kind of like, they took the thread and they were like, okay, this is the last one, guys. This might be like the Hail Mary one. And then they just like pulled the thread, and it just let the damn net fall out, where everyone was up in a net, trapped, all in their high leverage. And they went snip, and it went boom. And so out of that, now we just need to lock in and buy spot crypto. Yeah, we have to just like lock in and buy spot crypto. And some are going to perform a lot better than others. And it's not really my job to try and convince you what to buy. I love telling you what I'm buying because some of it's hilarious. and some of it actually makes sense. I have fundamental thesis for everything that I'm holding, and I could talk for hours on it. But I'd rather spare you and just get you to go down your own rabbit hole and understand, and maybe just I would like to get you to not be as bearish on ETH and not listen to some Solana echo chamber, because if you get into an ETH echo chamber, they'll tell you that Sol is also terrible and dead. But then if you just ignore all of them and then just look at the fundamentals on chain, then you can just ignore all of that. You can just go, I don't care. I'm just going to hold ETH and Sol, hold the native tokens that are on these chains, and try my best not to fall off track. The whole point of not effing this up is to not sell so early and hold a little longer, because when you get into some of these echo chambers of crypto, it's all about the trench and selling at a 2x, so building up a what. No, it's just like there's got to be a long-term, more macro perspective. So that's what we have to lock into.
Maybe 10x in the next few years. Prediction markets are going to be huge. Decentralized identity and digital identity are going to be huge. Ethereum lets you play those secular trends, which are in this enormous growth phase, almost regardless of what's happening in the broader economy. So for me, it's really it's a generational opportunity, and to get in at these prices, I think really is almost a gift for long-term investors. It's a tremendous opportunity.
Tom, in terms of just the overall...
He said it's a gift right now. Like, this is what is so cool, is that these guys, I'm telling you, like I will trust these guys a little bit better than these damn profile pictures that people seem to trust more on crypto Twitter. You gotta remember, retail is not on Twitter. Retail's they're kind of on Twitter, but not really. Like, retail's on Facebook still. They're on Instagram. They're on TikTok more. That's where retail is. We're just kind of retarded. That's where we're on X. We have mental issues.
Overall volatility, what are some of the near-term headwinds you're expecting Ethereum to face?
Well, one of them is the industry did suffer a big liquidation event that I think crippled many players and wiped out many accounts. So I think that this, just like in 2022 or in 2020, it does take a few weeks for the industry to sort of find its footing. And I think that's why crypto prices have lagged here. And it does have the signs of that maybe a market maker or two actually is unable to provide market liquidity. And as you know, as liquidity contracts, it's the same thing as the central bank tightening. So it's almost like crypto QT. I think the other thing the markets are grappling with is people talking about the 4-year cycle. Many are convinced that Bitcoin prices have peaked. So in some ways, Bitcoin being the blue chip and the bellwether is important for crypto, because if Bitcoin makes a new high this year, then it really obviates the fact that there is a 4-year cycle. And so it's, to me, between now and year end, I'm pretty bullish on stocks. This sort of weakness in the first half of November was what we expected. But as markets rally, I think that's going to help propel Bitcoin to an all-time high.
Tom, we can't let you go without asking about Granny Shots, that ETF recently celebrating its 1-year anniversary, gathering.
Okay. So yeah, I just wanted to play a little clip of this, but then I also wanted to play this quick clip. This is a guy from Coinbase, but I really like how they kind of describe the market. He said that, he's like, I'm not going to lie. The sentiment is really bad right now. He's like, it's bad. He said, but for some reason that it is what it is, but you have to look forward and take this as just an insane buying opportunity.
Join us now with more on the crypto market. John D'Agostino, Coinbase head of institutional strategy. We've seen this movie before. What was the biggest sell-off? We had a move from, I think, 65 down to 15,000, didn't we, at one point with Bitcoin?
Sure. I mean, so historically, Bitcoin has traded in these 4-year cycles. And so we saw 2014, 2018, 2022. material moves down.
20,000 down to 3,000 at one point, I think. Remember that
Absolutely,
one?
yeah.
So it
sounds
can
about
lose
right.
70 or 80% of its value and then only to see new highs again.
So generally,
Yeah,
after
can.
those down years, we've seen 2 to 3 years of up 150, 160% returns.
So what do you, what would not, is it less volatile now? Or are the sell-offs going to be not quite what they were? Or is it possible, let's see, 125, could it go down to 60,000?
So mathematically, it is becoming less volatile. Just as a strict standard deviation calculation, it is becoming less volatile. You would expect that as you have a wider and deeper market. You have more different types of investors. Obviously, the ETFs have brought in a flood of retail. You have more institutions. Harvard Endowment announced they hold more Bitcoin than gold the other day. So mathematically, that's what you would expect. It doesn't feel that way, to be very honest, right? The sentiment is brutal right now, and you have to be very, very honest about that. Just like I'm sure, you're holding gold, you feel smart. You didn't feel so smart in 2008 when gold lost a third of its value.
For years and years and years, you just...
And so this is what we made this same analysis, and it was cool because we watched this video and then we're like, dang, we made that same kind of correlation where I think we did it with and then we had gold on here. On the total cryptocurrency market cap, we just added gold, same price scale. And this was such a great chart to look at because when you look at crypto here, you look at the time horizon, okay, 2015, but if you go back into the actual gold chart, you go to the gold chart, go to metals, gold, and the ETF came in for gold in 2005. In 2005. So it was kind of just like gold was kind of just chopping around in the 80s. It was kind of going like this. And then in 2005, I think we had the gold ETF. And then that's what actually spiked gold, I think, up. I think we did, it was like 400% or something. Yeah, 350%. And then it had a nice little correction going into the tens in the 2000s. Had this cup and handle form, and then it eventually broke out hard out of the cup and handle. But what we want to really point out is the fact that through the modality of the ETF for gold is what really sent it flying. But what we want to point out here really is the total cryptocurrency market cap compared to this breakout of what happened with gold and its cup and handle. And then also what we have here forming on the monthly chart of the total cryptocurrency market cap chart. And you see how, look, like he said, you feel smart that you bought gold because gold is at 25 trillion and you're like, oh my God, why did I buy crypto? It's at 3 trillion. Do I have issues? Like, am I going to be okay? Yes, you're going to be okay because you're buying the biggest disruptor. It's not financial advice, of course. This is entertainment purposes only. But in portions like this of brand new tech and innovation and the doom, all of the stuff that comes up with disruptors in the biggest things like our future of what we're going to be using. So it's always that innovation and competition breeds the next sector of flyers. So we want that. And so what I think that is just crypto as a whole, just being bullish crypto. It doesn't mean that everything you're going to buy in crypto is going to be successful because we know that not to be true. It is still tricky, but we do get revealed some top key players that we see money flowing into. So that's the best you can do is just like, all right, well, it's DeFi. That's what's cool about crypto. It's DeFi. You can participate in all of this stuff. No one's stopping you. No one is stopping you. You can participate in all of this stuff. That's the whole point. Is to learn that you can move your money around. Once you learn about crypto rails and you can start to get stable coins into a network and you start to move stuff around. Oh, I can bridge. I can do this. I can send money to a friend. I can just do things. That's the whole point. Instead of going through these middlemen that will always be charging you money, will have some excuse as to why they can't give you your money. This is why I feel a little bit better to have all my money in crypto, in digital wallets that I know I have access to. So just in case these freaking banks or whatever, like, or something is weird, I can just be like, all right, well, I have my value in this new money system. So we are just lagging behind a little bit in the boomer pop here of gold. And so I think 7 trillion at least, like worst case scenario, is going to be coming around the corner here like sooner than you think. But we just have to have some patience. So smash up that like if you agree with what I'm saying here. Let's continue.
Felt real smart. Yeah. So as we've said many times on this show, trying to market time any volatile asset can get you in a lot of trouble. If you've systematically invested in Bitcoin over a 5-year period, you're up an extraordinary amount. Even year to date, while not great, both Bitcoin and Ethereum, while slightly negative, are Ethereum's a little bit up. If you stake your assets, you can earn a higher yield, so you're still net positive. Solana's down materially for the year, 25%, year on year 41%. However, we had the single best ETF launch of the year for a Solana ETF. So in these situations, I try to step back and ask myself, what has fundamentally changed since, let's say, late September, when everyone was incredibly bullish? And the answer for me is nothing. Structurally, we're where we were, if not better. We have the Czech National Bank announcing a central bank Bitcoin purchase, the first Eurozone country to do that. You've got Citibank and JP Morgan announcing stablecoins that they're using to facilitate customer transactions. You've got Harvard Endowment's announcement. You have successful ETF launches. So it's a challenging environment currently, but in my house, we like apples. I don't like apples less when they're on sale. So if you like this asset, you should like it at a discount.
What if you didn't like it in September and you like it now? Should you like it now at a discount? Because price does matter. I know you're sort of suggesting, you're suggesting prices don't matter at all.
If you like it because you thought it was overbought, of course. If you didn't like it because you thought it was overbought, yes. If you didn't like it because you don't agree structurally, probably not.
No, I'm just saying, right, like sometimes, you know, avocados go up and down in price. You may love avocados, but you may say, you know, this is a little rich for my Sure. The price tag's a little high right now. I'm not going to buy the avocados, but you know what? Sure. The next time I walk into the market and the avocados that are a better price, I'll take some.
So you're a technical avocado trader in this example, and that makes perfect sense. I would expect technical traders would be buying into the mean reversion trade at this point. So that's kind of why I'm a little bit confident. Again, because structurally, I don't see a regulatory environment in the U.S. or globally that is any worse than it was pre-October 10th.
What did you make of, and I've been asking the question a lot just because I remember being sort of surprised when she first said it. Cathie Wood made a very interesting point. What, it really
it's
did...
really not.
Well, I know you don't agree.
To go from 1 point...
Hold on, just...
For one thing, to have a price target of 1.5 million is ridiculous to start.
Okay.
To go to 1.2 million...
It doesn't even matter. That's not the point. Let me explain.
You know what he's doing.
I heard you after.
The point is slightly different. The point is that she made an argument that she was surprised about the success of stablecoins and how she believed that stablecoins, to some degree, could crowd out some of the Bitcoin trade because people are going to use stablecoins more for transactions and the like than she originally thought. She thought Bitcoin might be used more for transactions than they will be, and that was a surprise to her. Forgetting about
so it's only going up 15 times from where it is now instead of 20 times.
Forget about her price target. You're focused on the price target
from where it is now.
Okay.
I'll
just be quiet.
Both predictions are ludicrous, right?
So I want to say
they're
ludicrous.
not.
I think Kathy's an incredibly brilliant person, and I trust her judgment. I heard another one of your guests, I think it was Michael Saylor, say that they didn't see the direct correlation between
20 million, isn't he, or something? What's his target?
At some point in the future, right? I'm not sure I see the users of stablecoin substituting that long-term asset for Bitcoin, and I'm not sure I see the people.
Because these people are going to end up they're going to be holding stables just like cash. They're going to earn 7%. Okay, big deal. All the while Bitcoin is millions of dollars per coin, and they're like, what did I just do? And that's what people have done for 13 years. It's not going to change, guys. That's what's hilarious. I think it's hilarious. I have known about Bitcoin for too long now, and I've watched the price go from freaking 500 to 1,000 to over 1,000, then to 10,000, and then back down to 3,000, and then not paying attention to it at all, then seeing it at 30,000, then Tesla's buying it, and then it's at 69. And then it crashes down to 30. Everyone thinks it's over then. And then we see now that it's gone over 126,000. It's gone now back to 90K. And people are now again calling for it to be, quote, over. And it's just, I'm just gonna be bullish, my friends. That's the answer. You just have to be bullish. And I think that if we can hold long enough, we might be that legendary story in our family's bloodline that dad or mom, whoever you are watching out there, you had the balls to hold through all of this volatility to truly actually reap the benefits from massive network effects that are about to happen, I think. We're on the precipice of the biggest network effects we're ever going to see in our history. And because it's decentralized finance, we don't have to, quote, ask Daddy Warbucks or you know, the Fed or whoever to take part of it. It's freaking DeFi. And put it on this freaking cold wallet. As long as I have my 12 words, I can tattoo it on my butt cheek. All right, whatever. Just as long as you make sure you keep it safe. That's what we have to focus on. Not leverage trading, not trying to time the market. Gambling, I think that is a zero-sum game that will get you rocked, and you're better off just spot buying. And that's just the truth. So I stopped promoting a bunch of exchanges that encourage too much leverage trading. I have one link, crypto.com. Check it out. If you want to spot buy on there, go for it. If you want a prediction market on there, go for it. But more so, just check it out just as a way to directly support the channel. And then if you want to check out my MetaMask link, I'm very much encouraging people to just like use all the networks in MetaMask. Like start using all this stuff. Like check out the way you can move around your stable coins. You can even use Solana now in MetaMask. So anything that you do inside of MetaMask, whether you're using the EVMs or you're using a Solana address, you should be using my rewards link for sure. Especially if you like this channel and you've been wanting to directly support, but you don't know how, this is the best way to do it. All right, my friends, we're an hour in. I'll use the last portion of the live stream if you guys want to ask me any questions. I don't know if there's not too much to talk about. we'll just real quick, we'll blast through. In surprise reveal, Trump now supports the GOP to release the Epstein files. So I'm sure you guys have been following that. At first, it was like there was a bunch of push and pull back and forth. There's been some alleged emails that could potentially be doctored. We don't know. Yeah, so that's happening right now. What else? Yeah, we had the Cloudflare outage taking down X and OpenAI. Yeah, OpenAI was a big one that just definitely whacked out some stuff. So I don't know. Let's see how the poll went. We got 9 votes. Okay. Oh, dang. Did you stop leverage trading gambling? Did you stop leverage gambling trading yet? 67% said yes. 33% said no. And then 0 said I'm addicted. I can't stop. So, all right. So no one's like, super fully addicted. But yeah, we have 70% said yes. I stopped leverage. I think the 10-10 event was really the nail in the coffin for a lot of people. I think the 10-10 October 10th event that liquidated like a lot of people. We went back to like 2022 lows on some of these altcoins. And like Tom Lee pointed out, he thinks that 2 or 3 major market makers basically got bonked. So this is why we probably had, these massive these massive shakeout events here, because the market is still trying to restructure. And then the government has been shut down during all this time as well. So it's like, think about it. It's a perfect storm to have a quote narrative built around like, oh, it's crashing. And then we have AI. Oh, the AI bubble. Then we have that's going to crash. Oh my God. And so it's building a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt, skepticism of AI revenue. Is what they're calling for the growth of AI, is that truly how much it's going to grow? That's all fair questions to ask. But I think instead of asking too many questions, I think it's just like, you're either going to sit on your cash, sit on the dollar, think that you're going to be able to make enough capital by just working to survive, or you're going to really aggressively pay off debt and invest and know that these things have always been fear, doom, gloom at these extreme fear levels, and it's recovered up into extreme greed almost every single time. So why should it be any different? Why should it be any different? So that's kind of my take on how to be bullish right now instead of being massively bearish and get convinced you need to sell all your crypto to quote time the bottom because you think it's going to go to 30K. Good luck. Good luck. You know how stressful that is? Just think more in the macro, and that's probably how we're going to survive. Not trying to quote time the tops and bottoms and all that stuff. That's a nightmare. This is all you need to know. You're literally buying crypto at 3 trillion, and the prospect is it just at least getting to 7 trillion. I mean, come on. And in that process, some of these ecosystems are gonna melt faces, especially at the prices that they're at right now. So really no need to be bearish. Really no need. All right, my friends. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Make sure you check out the links in the description. Make sure you check out at DanoCrypto904 on x.com. You can go to danocrypto.com as well if you want to check out the stuff on there. It's a pretty cool website. You can do a Bitcoin trivia machine on here if you really know your stuff. You can test your knowledge on the Bitcoin trivia machine. You can watch the ticker Bitcoin, Harry Potter, Obama, Sonic 10, Inu go to the moon in the Matrix, blasting out of the Matrix. You can also check out the crypto bubbles. And yeah, we just hope you have a good rest of your day. And another way you can directly support the channel, and I'll just tell you straight up, my mission right now is to acquire a Sproto. There are some Sprotos right now that are $800. And I would like to purchase a Sproto. And what is, I think, a fair trade is that I have some NFTs for sale. I have some NFTs for sale. And I think it would be really cool if some people bought these, because then I can use the funds to buy one of these Sprotos. Like, for instance, this one right now is $826, and that, I like it. It's not bad. There's a couple of key ones that I really do want to purchase. Obviously, I want to purchase the one that's my freaking profile picture. But there's some good ones right now. I like this one. This one, I really like the glassy eyes and the amulet. Any of the ones that have an amulet and they're really clean and have the eyes, those are the ones I'm eyeing. But this one's $826 too. Dang, this one, or no, that was the top offer. No, this one is actually $1,005. Sorry. This one. Okay, this one's $1,000. But if I were to sell every single one of these ordinal eyes that I have for sale, I would be able to afford one. So let's go. Make it happen. No one's bought any of these yet. So I mean, this would be cool to see if it could actually happen. But honestly, these are really dope NFTs. Like, if you're a Bitcoin fan, if you love Bitcoin, you like crypto, you like psychedelic, trippy kind of stuff, I think this is for you. Because check it out. I mean, you got this represents the Bitcoin halving, the crack. I call it the plasma crack. And there are traits. So if you click on the collection, there are traits. There's a gold level trait, full iris. So if you click into full iris, these are all the ones that are full iris NFTs. That's meaning it has the full on eyeball. And a lot of them are super custom. Like, some of them have like a moon theme. Like, this one is like super digitized old moon. There's also a tree rarity. Any of the ones that have trees. So if you like the full nature theme, this one is the coolest one that I think has the pine. It's got the Christmas pine, but then this really cool matrix optical illusion digital Bitcoin in it. Yeah, this one is dope. Really like that one. Yeah, the mission right now is to acquire some of these Sprotos because, man, they're at such good prices. And so I have some things to offer. I think that's a fair trade. All right, guys. Thanks for coming in. We'll see you guys later tonight. We'll be streaming at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we hope to see you there. God bless you and your families. May the light of the Lord Jesus Christ shine on you and your loved ones and all the people around you, and especially in you, because then you can take that energy and you can ripple it out to the world and to people, because that is how Jesus is coming back. It's through the love in your heart and the way that you can help other people. That's the way. So Jesus loves you. All right. Peace out.